Are you lost in life? Like, you wake up in the morning for work and you don't know how you got there. You're so many years in, you're so far away from your original direction, your dream job, your passion, your purpose. It's all gone. It's just, you don't know what you're doing with your life anymore. To the point where you may not even recognize yourself when you look in the mirror. It's actually changed your personality. My name's Abby. Today is my 35th birthday. Yay. And this is exactly how I feel. And this feeling is nothing new to me. I've actually, if I'm being honest, I've felt this way for the past probably 10 years or so, but it's gotten a lot worse in the past couple years. And I know why that is, and I'll get into that in a second. But it sucks. I don't know what happened, but I know I can't be the only one. And that's why I wanted to make this video. One of the many reasons why I wanted to make this video, because it is so easy, I feel like, in today's society. Like, we're so in touch with each other with like social media and stuff, and yet at the same time I feel like we are more disconnected as human beings peer to peer than we've ever been before. And I wanted to make this video because I couldn't find really anything else out there like it. And I want to normalize this feeling because, again, I can't be the only one who feels this way, right? Like, am I crazy? There's so much pressure to figure out what you want to do at a young age for the rest of your life, which is, when you really stop and think about it, is pretty crazy. Like, we tell high schoolers that they have to make the decision of what they want to do for the next 40 plus years. Like, that's wild when you think about it. You're teenagers. Like, you got raging hormones. Y- you're thinking about everything but doing well in school. Most of us are. You're just trying to fit in, you're trying to make friends, you're trying to find your place in the world, and that gets thrown at you. You need to make a decision what you want to do for the next 40 plus years. So that's a lot. And a lot can change within that time. And it happens. I mean, there are people that get to college and say, hey, this is not for me. Like, and they change majors, or they say, hey, this whole school thing, period, is not for me. I'm out. And then you get folks that go back to school later on in life. So I know there's like, that's been normalized. That's normal. But I want that conversation. I think that conversation needs to happen more. This feeling of being lost in your career can start to trickle down into other areas of your life that you may not even realize until you're in the thick of it. Because we spend so much time working. I mean, it is a majority of our lives are spent working. And as much as I just want to be a person that can just have a job that just pays the bills and that be enough, and I keep my head down and I'm a good little worker bee and I do the work, I just can't. I want to find something that speaks to me. I want to find a job that maybe I don't love, because I'm not asking to 100% love something. I just want to like it. And I want to feel like it's it's making a difference in someone's life. So for me, my passion and purpose, my thing that I decided back in high school, I knew young what I wanted to do, and I wanted to be a writer. And writing became my everything. I I wrote for pleasure, I wrote professionally, for years and years, and I loved it. It was my outlet. It was my sanity in this world. And I lost that somewhere along the way. And It happened, I think, probably from my very first job because it wasn't the ideal fit, but I kept powering through like a lot of folks do because, I mean, it's a job. You're not gonna snub a good paycheck. You're gonna take what you get when you get out of school, and that's exactly what I did. But then to move up the ladder and to make more money and to boost my resume, I needed to take other roles within that organization, and that's exactly what I did, and they weren't ones that I necessarily wanted to take, but I was told, and sadly, the advice is good advice. It's how the world works, is sometimes you just have to suck it up and do a job you don't wanna do so that you can use that as a stepping stone and move on to something that you do wanna do. So I took that advice and I did it, and each step got me further and further away from what I thought was my dream job, my goal job, and to the point where I ended up at 2 organizations toward the end there, that just completely destroyed every ounce of love I had left for writing. Um, I don't wanna get into, bore you with the nitty-gritty details, but more or less, um, these individuals were in positions of power, and they abused that power by completely rewriting everything I created. Um, I can take feedback. As a writer, you have to. It's part of the business. I've had people completely tear up stuff of mine, and that's fine because as long as you keep it professional and you're making the edits because they need to be made, um, I get it. If something's incorrect, yes, it needs to be changed. But if you're changing something just for the sake of because you like your words more and you like reading your own stuff more than mine, especially when it's a creative project, this isn't like a right or wrong information type project. Fellow writers that are listening to this right now, you get that. You understand what I'm saying right now. And to have that done to you over and over and over again and it not be stopped by other people witnessing it or that have some kind of control over it, it's just overlooked, and that happens for, I don't know, 3 years or so. You grow very cold, and it changed me as a person because I ended up not just hating writing, not only does it, like to this day, it gives me anxiety just picking up a pen and crafting 4 sentences, heartfelt, easy should be easy to say sentences, and a card to a loved one. Um, it it just destroyed me, and because that was my outlet, writing was my outlet, it was everything, and my way to to stay sane in this crazy world. Once you have that stripped away, it's like, "Oh, no. How do I cope? What do I do?" Um, which leads me to part of the reason why I created this YouTube channel. So, it's my 35th birthday, like I said. This is so unlike me, by the way. I am not one for social media. I'm not one for public displays of, this, whatever you wanna call this. Uh Mostly because I feel like I'm alone in this way of thinking. Nobody cares. The list goes on. I'm very hard on myself. Um, but I figured, you know what? I'm 35. Why not? And I am more lost now than I've ever been. Something's got to give. And maybe, just maybe, I will help someone else out there like yourself that is struggling, that is having these thoughts. I will normalize at least the feeling. I can't solve it for you. I'm still trying to figure it out myself. So I apologize if you came here for a bunch of tips and tricks on how to undo trauma in the workplace or magically find your calling in life. I apologize. I'm still trying to navigate that path myself. Um, but I at least want to normalize the feeling that it's okay to be not okay. It's okay to not know at all times. Because so often I get caught up in thinking, something is wrong with me. Just find a job, keep your head down, do it, and be happy with it. That's what everyone does. But I feel like I owe it to myself um, to find something that I at least like. And maybe that thing that I like and that new outlet that I've been searching for to replace writing and a way to help people because I truly feel like my place in this world is to help other people. Maybe that is making videos like this. We're going to give it a go. I don't know what I'm doing, guys. And I'm really, really scared putting myself out here like this because, like I said, this is a very unlike me. And um, yeah, so there's a bug flying around here. Anyway, I wish more people talked about mental health. I feel like mental health, I will say, I think it's become a little bit more of a topic, a little bit more normalized since the pandemic, because I think the pandemic just really rocked a lot of people's world in that it went from constant interactions with everyone face to face to nothing. And it's just human nature to want that connection, to see people on a daily basis, to bond, to share stories and experiences. That is very human. That's a very human need. So to go from that to nothing, rightly so, a lot of people's mental health took a plunge, myself included. I used to think that I was like totally happy with being like alone and um, very introvert and stuff. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh no, I miss seeing those people on a daily basis. Like that was back when I actually had really great people I was working with. That was my first long term job. Um, and yeah, so mental health is one of those things that just I feel like gets brushed under the rug. I feel like your physical health gets prioritized far more than mental. It's about you got to stay active, you got to have a healthy body, you got to eat well, you have to keep your heart health, up and while those are all very 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 important, I do think that mental health is even more so. Why? Because your brain, if you think about it, is what rules your entire body. So if your brain's not firing the way that it should, for lack of a better term, your entire body is going to suffer. There have been numerous studies on just like people think like stress is such a normal thing in everybody's lives, right? But they've done just stress, and I say just stress. They've done studies on individuals who are stressed and the risk of high blood pressure, heart disease, heart attack, all of these things skyrocket. Not to mention the mental toll of depression and anxiety that stress can cause. And stress is such a normal thing that so many of us feel. You wouldn't think like, it's okay. It's just always living in the back of my brain, but it's fine. But that just goes to show you that can just completely rule your life and ruin everything else about your body that you could be trying so hard to take care of. It doesn't matter if your brain's not in the right place. So I feel very passionately about mental health and supporting a culture and a conversation that, just talks openly and honestly about it. We all have problems. We're never happy 100% of the time. We never have it all figured out. Like, look, clearly I don't have this all figured out. But I wish we could normalize it and talk more openly and have safe spaces like this. And that's what I hope that maybe this channel creates, just this safe little corner of the internet where we can bounce these thoughts and feelings off each other, you know, just be there for one another, learn from one another, help each other out and be a support. Because these are tough times. I mean, our world is changing so rapidly. that it can just be a lot sometimes to process. I probably sound like, you know, I don't know, I probably just sound like super spoiled right now of like, I don't know. I would love if you've made it this far in this video, clearly in all my meanderings. We came up with the name for this channel. I don't see a side John. This all connects. When I came up with the name for this channel, my husband actually helped me out with it because I got like part of the way there and then he like filled in the blanks and I'm like, oh my gosh, I love that. Really, for the purpose of the channel, Lost in the Woods with Abby, it was like, yeah, like I'm just trying to navigate through life, figure out my way, um, which way do I go type thing. And but now like saying this, it's like, wow, it's a double meaning because if you have a conversation with me, you're in for a ride because as you can tell, I will get off in one direction, I'll go in another. Hopefully, I find my way back to the original one. There's no guarantee. We don't know what's going on over here. So, yeah, you're getting lost in the woods with me in multiple ways. So, I hope you're enjoying the journey. And I apologize, but something I want to do with this channel is um, not just normalize these thoughts and feelings and have these open and honest conversations with you in the comments, but I also want to keep this as genuine and authentic to myself as possible. So, like, that whole bit of me just going way off topic, like, typically, I would be a super perfectionist. I would say, "Oh my gosh, I cannot say that. I can't let that part of me out, and I need to stifle that, dial it back a little bit, and I'm gonna edit that out." But I don't wanna do that with this channel, and I know that's probably gonna really upset some people, and I'm sorry, then this isn't the channel for you. If you don't like open, honest, meandering thoughts, if you would rather have jump cuts and fancy sound effects and music and, um, fun stock images to distract you and entertain you while I'm speaking, you're not going to get that here. At least not at the beginning. I'm going to try and just keep this as genuine and simple and real to myself as possible. I think that's important for me for my own mental clarity and my growth in this journey. But I also feel like I owe it to you, the viewer, which sounds strange, but here's why. If you think about it, we live in a culture that is extremely perfected. We live in a very curated world. Every advertisement that we see is made for us. It is perfected. It has a goal in mind. Every social media post that we just mindlessly scroll through on a daily basis, whether it's a brand or someone we know or someone we just wish we knew, but we really admire their life, all of that is so perfectly curated. And I don't know about you, but I am getting really, really tired of it. It's a snapshot. We all know it's a snapshot of that person's life in time. It is not their reality 100% of the time. Their life is not like that all the time. It's not perfect. No one's life is. And yet, I feel like if we're being honest with ourselves, there's a part of us deep down that thinks maybe, just maybe, it is. Then we start down the slippery slope of comparing ourselves, comparing our lives to those individuals. And that's not a healthy mind state to be in, guys. I find myself slipping down it a lot. And it's a reason why I really don't like social media. I try and stay off of it as much as I can because it's just, I don't feel good after I use it. And I know that sounds kind of silly, but maybe you know what I mean when I say that. I just feel like I wasted a lot of time and I just feel icky about myself. And I don't have time for that. None of us have time for that. So, one of my goals with this channel, getting back to the point, one of the goals of my channel, one of the goals for myself for this channel is to challenge myself to not perfect these videos. I want to cut out all the ums and likes and awkward pauses or the things that I just did that, are silly or boring or whatever. But you know what? You're going to get them all. Sorry. Um, you're going to get you're going to get it all. This is who I am. But I probably do need to wrap up this video because it's probably going on, I'm looking at my time. It's 20 minutes. Oh my gosh. Okay. So sorry. I also apologize a lot. We could do a separate video on, there's a lot of things I'd like to do videos on, guys. A lot of like, not just finding your way in life, but in mental health, but just perfectionism, the need to please people, um, saying sorry all the time. Uh, Beauty standards, social media, AI. There's a lot of stuff that I would love to unpack with you. But again, I do not want this to be a one sided conversation, even though this is exactly what it sounds like it is, because I can't hear you speaking back to me. So if you could, please, I want to hear from you. If you've made it this far, then that means something about this video has resonated with you. Maybe you're thinking and feeling the same way I am, and you are completely and utterly lost in life. And that is totally okay because we can be here for each other, we can support each other. Please share your story in the comments below. I love knowing people's stories. It was a big part of my job early on when I loved writing. I actually was tasked with helping write people's stories so that other people could read them, and it was nonprofit work, so it was always about helping other people, helping more people, giving back. And I miss that. I got so far away from that. I forgot what that was like, and I so miss that work, um, and that feeling of purpose that it gave me. So I'd love to get that back. If you could help me with that, please drop your story in the comments below and let's talk about it. And yeah, so they say that in order to find yourself, you have to first lose yourself. And I don't know if that's true, but I've done the first step. I've recognized that I'm lost. Um, I am lost, but maybe we'll find our way together. I'd really love that. So I hope you'll join me on this path of rediscovery, I'm going to call it. And I'll see you next time.